back in 2004, my kids were really young. Like Grayson was 3 years old, my son was a year old, and I was picking him up from daycare. And there was a guy in the parking lot on the way in that was just kind of milling around, didn't think a whole lot about it. But when I got into the daycare, he knocked on the door and was trying to get in. He said to use the phone, but they have rules there and they have codes on the door for a reason. And these ladies, smart as they were, did not let him in. So I'm picking up the kids and I'm heading back out the door. I've got Cannon and a carrier on one arm. I'm holding Grayson's hand with the other, and I see him in the parking lot, and there's something about him that was off. Something seemed scary about him. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm completely at his mercy. I have a child in one arm and holding the hand of another one, and he could pretty much do whatever he wanted because I don't have the hand to fight him. Not that it would have done a damn bit of good, but that was my thought. Well, fast forward a couple of hours later, and I hear that somebody has been carjacked at that intersection. That man had carjacked someone and took off in their vehicle. Luckily, he didn't hurt them, but he had carjacked them. And it turns out that he had been up in Virginia where he stole a gun and a car, and he took off down to North Carolina where he shot a store clerk in the face and killed them, and then found his way into Columbia, South Carolina, to right outside of my daycare. Now, he carjacked that person and headed down to Charleston on I-26. Probably was going to hit 95 down to Florida, but he was on 26, ran out of gas, so he hits a gas station there, and his credit card didn't work. So he left that gas station and he went to hide at this farm on a back road in Calhoun County. That farm belonged to an off-duty police officer who went to his farm that night, and this guy was laying in wait for him. And he shot him and he killed him too. And then he took his unmarked vehicle and his firearms, and he made his way down to Florida where he was caught a couple of days later. It was a big deal. It was the closest run with a violent criminal that I've ever had. I was interviewed by SLED and by the FBI, and it was really kind of an eye-opener. That guy is scheduled to be executed tonight. And I thought at first, I don't know how I feel about that. But I've told you before, I do not believe in the death penalty. Even when I know this guy did some horrible things, even when he could have done horrible things to me, I do not believe in state-sanctioned murder. That being said, he's a terrible person. He deserves to spend the rest of his life in prison. But yeah, that's my story for tonight's execution.